Good morning to all. Good morning to all, and welcome to our webinar on the National Education Policy 2020, a review. We have today with us Professor G.M.Joseph Dunston, the former Vice Chancellor of St.Joseph University, Nagaland. We have also with us our Vice Principal, Dr. G.D. B.G., learned professors, principals, administrators from various universities and institutions across India. We have participants, teaching faculty members, research scholars, and people who are interested to learn and know more about the education policy. Let us begin today's meeting with a word of welcome. Actually, the meeting had to be presided over by the principal of our college, Dr. K. Paulraj, but he has got a very urgent meeting, something connected with the academic affairs of our college. So he is unable to join us. Our correspondent, Advocate Rajaduri, a leading advocate in the Nagarkoil court. He also has another affair there, so he is also not with us today. But we begin the program today with a welcome. On behalf of the management, on behalf of the college faculty members, on behalf of the organizing committee of this program, and on behalf of the IQAC, I welcome you all to this program, and especially I would take this opportunity to welcome our resource person, our dear professor, Professor G.M.Joseph Dunston, to this August gathering. Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you, Timmy.
And I would like to welcome all the members, faculty members from different parts of the country. We have people joining us in Zoom as well as in the YouTube also. So I welcome all of them on behalf of Nationally Memorial Christian College, Martanda. Let me not waste my time. Let me briefly introduce today's resource person, Professor G.M.Joseph Dunston. Professor Dr. Joseph Dunston was the Vice Chancellor of St.Joseph University, Nagaland from 30th November 2016 to 20th June 2017. After taking charge of this apex position, he created a lot of changes in the university, introducing possible viable courses to cater to the needs of the tribal communities in Nagaland. Various councils were set up to steer the needs of the people, the tribal people of Nagaland. And he brought the university in a different direction to cater to the needs of the people there. At present, he works as a director of for development and professor of English of the research center at St. Jerome's College of Arts and Science, which is affiliated to Manonmaniam Sundarnar University. Earlier, he worked in different positions. He worked as the principal and director of JP Group of Institutions affiliated to Manonmaniam Sundarnar University. He also had served as the director of DMI College of Engineering and Loyola Institute of Technology, Chennai, which is affiliated to Anna University, Chennai. He worked strenuously to train the faculty to go for NAC and MBA accreditations when he was the director there. He was also the principal of St. John's College of Arts and Science, Kanyakumari district, which was also affiliated to Manonmaniam Sundarnar University during the period 2009. Before that, he was also the director of Francis Xavier Engineering College, Tirunelveli, which is affiliated to Anna University, Chennai. And prior to these assignments, he served as the head of the Department of English, and he was also the vice principal of St. Jude's College, Tutur, which was a renowned college affiliated to Manoன்மணியம் Sundarnar University. As a coordinator of NAC preparation committee, he worked hard to get the college accredited. He also served as a trainer and motivational speaker in many colleges and schools to train the faculty to get new insights in teaching. He has also trained the staff in many colleges to go for NAC accreditation, both under the old and the new schemes. He has served as a resource person in many national and international workshops. I'm sure he has delivered motivational talks in more than 1,000 meetings in colleges and schools all over India. During his tenure as principal, he too served as the member of the Senate in Manoன்மணியம் Sundarnar University, Tirunelveli. He was also nominated as the chairperson of the Consortium of Christian Minority Higher Education Institutions of Tamil Nadu, besides being a member of All India Association for Christian Higher Education, New Delhi, of CCMHTI. In January 2018, he had represented the consortium in the consultation of New Education Policy Draft Committee led by Padma Vibhushan Dr. Kasturi Rangan, organized by the Ministry of Human Resource Development in NAC office, Bangalore. As a member of the international organization, he has attended many national and international conferences on the new trends in higher education. In the year 2017, he has delivered the keynote address in IAPCHE faculty research papers in reputed journals, national and international. In Manoன்மணியம் Sundarnar University, he is an of
TB? Professor TB?
He's muted.
No.
He has put in 30 years of service, of which he had been at the helm of affairs of administration for more than 30 years as professor and head, Department of English, vice principal, director, principal, and vice chancellor. So we have such a renowned person today to deal on this particular topic. So I invite Dr. Professor Joseph Dunston to go ahead with the session. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, Professor TB. I think that's a very long introduction, I believe. We should have cut short many things. But anyway, thank you very much for the good words you spoke about me. Am I audible?
Yes,
Hello?
sir, you are audible.
Yes, sir.
You
Yes,
are
sir.
Yeah, I'm audible. Yeah.
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Uh, Respected the Secretary of the College, Advocate Rajaturai, my bosom friend, Dr. Palraj, the Vice Principal, the IQAC Coordinator, and my colleague, Professor T.B. Thomas, my bosom friend, Dr. Durraj, Dr. Bharti, and other friends, and Mr. Siva Subramaniam, Computer Science Professor of JP College, who helped me in the PowerPoint presentations and all that, participants, and ladies and gentlemen. I am very happy that I have been given a chance. I must gratefully acknowledge the inquiries of Dr. T.B. Thomas and Dr. Palraj. And T.B. was really after me, and then, he was having the rehearsal and everything. He did a wonderful job. Anyway, now we have lost some time, but anyway, now I have to go fast. See, I'll be confining myself to the higher education part of this new education policy 2020. And a rough sketch of the whole talk will be on these lines. How and why there is a need for revamping the higher educational scenario in India, and the changes in the nomenclature of the institutions, the thrust on the research through multidisciplinary approach, setting up of various commissions and councils, and finally the implementation of policy. And I think after that, I also would give you that, why don't we consider this as a policy discourse? Mostly many literary people, literary savants that are attending this, I would like to take up as a policy discourse. Now, education, if you go to the origin of the word, the Latin educare, which very roughly says that it is to lead out, to lead out. Of course, education has to bring out the full potential of anybody. I think this national education policy is going to address some of the issues where, which will lead our students to excellence, to lead the students to a kind of a very good atmosphere wherein they will excel. In 2015, India accepted this global education development agenda, and they started a sustainable development goal, under which they wanted to have education also a sustainable development goal. That is why in the preamble to the policy, they say, we would like to address, the policymakers very clearly say, we would like to address the unfinished agenda of National Policy of Education, which was released in 1986 and revived in 1992. They clearly spell out this thing, saying that there were unfinished agenda. So this policy is going to finish off those things. They have to complete the agenda, and they say, why do we need this policy on higher education? And when they start that higher education part, they put beautiful words. I mean, the rhetoric is wonderful. They say, we want to have quality universities and colleges, a new and forward-looking vision for India's higher education system. So, we will start with the first thing like this. Why do we need this education policy for higher education? My screens are there. Oh, okay. Yeah. Why do we need the education policy? See, they say, the policy makers, they say, currently, there are a lot of problems plaguing the educational system of India. And they list out certain major problems. And after enlisting those problems, they say we want to come out of, we want to, face these challenges and make the students overcome these challenges and achieve excellence. What are the problems? Presently, the higher education system, ecosystem is highly fragmented. We have a lot of silos, they say, and we stop the students in the 10th standard or 12th standard, and their specialty, the specialization is decided there. So they want to remove that silos, that strict fragmentation. And now in the present situation, it's the less emphasis on development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes. Number three, as I have already told you, that there is a rigid separation of disciplines with the early specialization and streaming of students into narrow areas of study. The thing is, for example, we can say a commerce student or an economics student or a literature student cannot have any specialization in science. That's what they want to say. Now, in limited access, particularly to the socio-economical disadvantaged areas, with the few higher education that teach in local languages. Throughout this policy, they are insisting on that the multilingual experience for the student. And they also say in the present scenario, current scenario, well, we have a limited autonomy of the institutions and the faculty also. They have to follow the affiliating system and they don't involve in innovations in teaching. And inadequate mechanism for merit-based career management and progression of faculty and institutional leaders. Like the appointment of the principals, deans, and all those. There is no proper progression. In fact, meritorious people are not given a chance to occupy the leading position, the apex positions, the colleges and the universities. And in most universities, research is not happening at all. That's what they say. There is no peer-reviewed research finding across disciplines. So the multidisciplinary approach is missing in many of the universities. And it's a suboptimal governance and leadership. Of course, it is not very high in the sense, a very highly qualified people are there to govern the institute. And an ineffective regulatory system, because when there is something wrong or something goes wrong in the university or in some fake university, we don't have a proper regulatory system to correct them or close the university. And the last point would be that there are large affiliating universities having more than 500 colleges. For example, today in Anna University we had more than 530 colleges. I think it's slowly coming down now, since most of the engineering colleges are opting for closing, and then the number is around 520 or something now. So these are the major challenges which are currently faced in the the system of education. So this education policy is there to revamp and re-energize the higher education system and overcome the challenges which is listed earlier. So to overcome the first challenge like this, what shall we do? We have to move towards a multidisciplinary university and college. So we have to design the programs in such a way we should have a lot of multidisciplinary programs. And these universities, at least one in the district, with more higher education interests across India, that offer medium of instructions in local or Indian language. Still, I think they're having a lot of commissions, committees, and all that. and you must have seen in the papers and the TV. There is a lot of furor over this local Indian languages and all that. Maybe once the commission are appointed, they may come to a consensus what kind of a medium instruction should be followed in our universities. And the next important point in this policy is that they want to move towards faculty and institutional autonomy. And, they also seriously want to revamp the pedagogy, curriculum, the assessment, and student support for enhanced student experience. When I say the student support, a lot of financial assistance with public, private enterprises, funding from the government and all that, so that they will attract more students from the rural areas to have a multidisciplinary education. And the next important point is now today they want to reaffirm the integrity of faculty and institutional leadership. As I told you, they would like to have incentives for career progression, not relying only on the seniority of the faculty. Their continued commitment in increasing their the pedagogy or learning, publications of papers, and then internationally and national level, Scopus Index, and all those things will be taken care of hereafter for their career progression. Their service also should be very committed towards the welfare of the student and all that. To have this, they would like to have a national research foundation. I think this policy, they're having many commissions and all those things are going to be established. And National Research Foundation is one which will be funding peer-reviewed research, and it also will seed research in universities and colleges. And in the introduction itself, they say, when we start with multidisciplinary research, even during this pandemic, if the research had been taken very properly and very systematically, some kind of a vaccine should have been already found out, and then stop something that way. I mean, they see all those things. Today, what is the need of the hour and how research should come out? That area of research should come out in helping people to have lots of research that way. And they will have highly independent boards for governance of the higher education. They say they'll have board of governors in each district to administer the autonomous colleges and introducing more autonomy. Of course, there will be light but tight regulation by a single regulator for higher education. That I'll tell you, Higher Education Council of India, that will be the apex body. Higher Education Council of India will regulate all the higher education institutions. And then, they have this particular point that access and equity and inclusion. They would like to have all the students under one umbrella of this, all the institutions. They want to give education to everyone. Nobody should be left out. That's what they say. That is why they would like to have scholarship by private and philanthropic universities, the public-private enterprises, where they want to have more scholarship, and online and open distance learning. That will definitely come into force for that. They'll be able to increase the gross enrollment ratio. Presently, we have 26.5, and they want to increase the GR to 50% by 2030. Now, after listing all those things, how they are going to work out, and they now put a break like this, that there will be an entrance examination for all the courses, all the programs, which will be offered by this college higher education institution. National Testing Agency will conduct the entrance examination for the arts and sciences programs, and also for the teacher education programs. Now, how are they going to restructure the present higher educational institutions? They would like to transform all the large multidisciplinary universities and colleges into higher education clusters or knowledge hubs. I'll explain what's the kind of a higher education hub after giving you these three nomenclatures we are going to give. Number one, there will be research intensive universities which will have 5,000 to 25,000 students. Second, teaching intensive universities, that also will have the same thing. And the teaching intensive universities also can become a research intensive university. And there will be autonomous degree granting colleges. In the present policy, they say if you have around 3,000 students and cater to all the accreditation process, autonomous status will be granted by the team. Now, what will happen to those colleges which have less than 1,000, less than 2,000? They will form themselves into a higher education clusters. And they say there will be a multidisciplinary universities closer to each district. And all these colleges will be monitored by that particular, because there is no affiliation system, but they'll be monitored. And the board of governors will be there. The Higher Education Council of India will appoint a lot of board of governors. And I'll tell you who will be the members of the board of governors. And then, now, what will happen at the undergraduate level? This undergraduate degree shall be either 3 or 4 year duration with multiple exit option. And of course, there will be appropriate certificate. And if a student leaves after the first year, after 2 semesters, he will be given a certificate. And that means he has completed a certificate course in the first year. And the second year, I mean, after finishing the second year, you'll be given a diploma. Of course, bachelor degree will be given after 3-year program. In the 4th year, this will be a 4-year integrated course. 4th year, there will be also a stress on the research, on some kind of a specialization. So the students who passes the 3rd year and come to the 4th year will have a kind of a specialization in an optional subject, that kind of a. So to coordinate all those things, they will also start academic bank of credit. No, they will store the credits. They say there will be multiple options, multiple exit options. After first year, you can leave the place and then, you can start some kind of a business or whatever it is. Or you can do some job somewhere or work somewhere. And after some time, you can come and join the second. Now, already this credit will be stored somewhere in the bank and it will be added for the second year. And after second year, when you come and join the 3rd year, then you can also do that. Take that academic credits. There will be storage. The repository of the technology will be kept there, and you can make use of those credits. Regarding the master's degree also programs, there will be a lot of flexibilities. There may be a 2-year master's program with a second year devoted entirely to research. Those are completed the 3 years. See, now those who are doing a 3-year program will definitely take up masters. And of course, the research will be made a very important area of study in the second year of the master's program. And the students completing 4 years for bachelor's program with research, they can take up 1-year master program. They have already done the 4-year integrated course. Why do they want to have a 4-year integrated course? The policy makers there, the professional education is only 4 and above. No, 4 years or 5 years, whatever it is. So even arts and sciences, the students who do this program should have 4-year program. And there may be an integrated 5-year bachelor's and master's degree also. That already some of the universities have introduced. So undertaking a PhD shall require either a master degree or a 4-year bachelor degree with research. Whether I said the fourth year, there will be a specialization on some research, some topics. And MPhil program shall be discontinued. Now, there were a lot of discussions on this. Even our university, they were telling that already they have released the advertisement for MPhil, and then what they say is this year the old education policy and the new education policy will be in force, so we can have MPhil this year definitely. And then accreditation system. See, the accreditation system will be completely revamped. Of course, already now it has been revamped, and mostly everything is online. And of course, they have also put a lot of strictures, for verification of what's really happening here in the teaching, learning process, and all that across all categories of higher education. So hereafter, there will be a uniform policy to have the accreditation. And I know they have even removed the nomenclature. Earlier, it was National Assessment and Accreditation Council. Hereafter, it is going to be only accreditation, National Accreditation Council, right? And they have a big plan of saying by 2040, all higher education institutions shall become multidisciplinary institutions. They will simultaneously, they'll also give a lot of importance to open distance learning and MOOCs, the massive open online courses, open distance learning. The ODL programs will be given to them. See, for example, a student who comes out of the first year, a student who comes out of the second year, a student who comes out of the second, he can go in for an ODL, online learning. Today, I know when I introduced certain curriculum like this in Nagaland University, I took it from St. Stephen's College, then St.Joseph College, Trichy, and some of the leading colleges of North India. There, they have credits. Even today, I know that in Stella Maris, Chennai, Loyola College, Chennai, and WCC, Chennai, they have a extra credit for online courses in each semester. Anyway, that is going to come. That will be strengthened. Online courses and open distance learning will be strengthened. That is why now another important thing is these online courses, online education, or the open distance learning also will be accredited. There will be certain yardsticks, the parameters which will be designed for online education. Only when you cater to those parameters or the yardstick, you will be granted open distance learning. That's a thing. And then creation of new higher education institutions over the years. Now, the single stream higher education institutions, what are they? Now, B.Ed colleges, colleges offering programs in education. They offer only one stream, right? No education. And there are some colleges which offer only commerce, College of Economics. There are colleges which offer only business management. There are colleges which offer only job-oriented courses like catering courses. That's all. All those single stream colleges will be phased out over the time, and then they will be completely become a vibrant multidisciplinary institution. That means all the institutions, all the higher education institutions in India will become a multidisciplinary institution. And they will also remove these affiliated colleges over a period of 15 years through a system of graded autonomy. Only when you get an autonomy, you will become a degree granting college, the third category. And the degree granting college also can become a teaching intensive university. And the degree granting college also can become a research intensive university. So the present common nomenclature of the higher education institution, affiliating university, deemed to be university, affiliating technical university, unitary university, all these words will be replaced by only university. And the drafters, they say, university in the worldwide, if you take that meaning, it means a multidisciplinary institution of higher learning that offers undergraduate and PhD programs. So in all our universities, they will try to introduce the multidisciplinary program. Now, why they want to have a multidisciplinary education? They say in the introduction, it is beautifully written. India has a very rich tradition of multidisciplinary learning. And we had wonderful universities, Takshashila, Nalanda, Palabi, and all those universities, which attracted a lot of students and scholars from across the countries all over the world. And we had a lot of good people like what do you call Sharaka, Susuta, Aryabhatta, Bhaskaracharya, Brahmagupta, Chanakya, Chakramani Datta, Madhava, Panini, Patanjali, Nagarjuna, Gautama, right, and then Maitreyi Gagi, and also Tiruvallur. Tiruvallur is the last one. Right? So they say, we have a rich tradition in our country. We have diverse cultures, but still we live in it. See, that's why we always say there is diversity in universe, unity in diversity. So we have that motto. So now, to have that rich tradition inculcated in the minds of the student, we should have multidisciplinary colleges wherein we will introduce all these 64 colors. That is, that Kadambari in his Banabhata's Kadambari, we have that 64 colors, not only singing and painting, scientific fields such as chemistry, mathematics, vocational, and all those things, carpentry, cloth making, professional fields, medicine and engineering, as well as soft skills such as communication, discussion, and debate. All those things are there under the 64. There should be this notion of knowledge of many arts, but in modern times called the liberal arts. That's why they would like to have bachelors in liberal education, BLE or BLA, bachelor in liberal arts, bachelors in liberal education. So that's why they say undergrad, this policy very clearly envisions that sciences and humanities and arts should integrate STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. That's why they want to give a holistic multidisciplinary education, with have capacities of human beings intellectually, aesthetically, socially, physically, emotionally, and morally. All these aspects will be there when you give the multidisciplinary education, and you will become a complete holistic personality. And they want to introduce many things like that. We will have lots of social sciences and vocational fields, social engagement, soft skills such as communication, discussions, and debate, and all those things. All those things will be introduced in all the integrated multidisciplinary courses. So even in engineering, like IITs, they will not stress only on engineering. They also will have multidisciplinary education with arts and humanities. And students of arts and humanities will aim to learn both sides. See, engineering students will learn of sciences and humanities, and arts and sciences students will learn of more engineering, science, chemistry, and all. They'll be given the option. And departments in language, literature, music, philosophy, Indology, art, dance, theater, education, mathematics, statistics, pure and applied sciences, sociology, economics, sports, translation, interpretation, and all these subjects needed for multidisciplinary, stimulating Indian education and the environment be established and strengthen all. That is, in short, we'll say multidisciplinary programs will have social sciences, physical sciences, medical sciences, and all those things. The Siddha, all those things will be there. And Indology, the Indian culture, the philosophy of our country, the music in our country, literature in our country, all those things will be combined to give a multidisciplinary. And then, all higher education institutions with credit-based courses. that also they are going to revamp the credit-based courses today. I mean, even the choice-based credit system. They will have a community engagement and service. That is an extension activity, reaching the unreached. Already, many of the autonomous colleges have adopted some villages, and they go to their villages and work for the community. And environmental education, that is the need of the hour, and value-based. All those things to be brought in with the credit-based courses. And environmental education such as climate change, pollution, waste management, sanitation, conservation of biological diversity, management of biological resources and biodiversity, forest and wildlife conservation, sustainability, all those things. See, today, these are the areas wherein the students have to take up a responsible position in these things, areas. So I think all those things will be incorporated in their programs. Value-based education definitely will include the ethic and constitutional human values. Of course, the values of truth, righteous contact, dharma, peace, shanti, and love, prem, non-violence, ahimsa, the scientific temper, all those values which have been really given, in our life, in our literature, in our culture, life skills, all those things will be disseminated, inculcated in the minds of the student. So, to achieve all this component of multidisciplinary universities, model public universities like at par with IITs and IIM, in Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of Management, they will be called MERUs, Multi-Education Research Universities. Multi-Educational Research Universities. This particular model university, at least one in each district, will have a focus on research and innovation by startup incubation centers. Of course, I know most of you know that in all our engineering colleges, we have the incubation center where we have an idea for the startups to be given to the students, of the company. Invite the companies and have different startup programs and technology development centers. That is now the needed now, and centers in frontier areas of research, greater industry academic linkages, and interdisciplinary research, including humanities and social sciences. So, to sum up, we can say all these higher education institutions have a main focus on this startup program. That means entrepreneurial development, research, technology development centers. Now, I'll just touch upon teacher education. Teacher education also, an area where they have a very lengthy discussion, but because of the time limit, I touch upon that. In 2012, Justice Verma Commission constituted the Supreme Court said there are around 10,000 teacher education institutions offering only single stream education, but it is being sold for a price. The degrees are sold. I mean, even in attendance is not compulsory. They did not go there. They don't attend the classes, but still they get a degree. So now this education policy will have a rigorous way of closing down those if they are not performing well, if they are not functioning well. That means by 2030, only educationally sound, multidisciplinary and integrated teacher education programs shall be in force. That means, once again, in the teacher education institutions like B.Ed colleges, we will have 4-year integrated teacher preparation programs that will be on education, the main subject, education, pedagogy, or teaching methodology, and also by introducing the individually subjects like sciences, chemistry, physics, whatever it is. There will be a special thing on education like that will be going on. And now today the 4-year integrated B.Ed course, colleges also can start a 2-year B.Ed course, because in some of the colleges, they'll be offering 3-year course, and the students also will come out of after 3 years. They can join a 2-year B.Ed course, and 1-year B.Ed colleges maybe also allowed, because after the 4-year course, he can come and join 1-year B.Ed course, wherein only education will be, insisted upon, that courses on education. Now, another important, point here in the education policies, all PhD entrants, they have to do a required credit-based courses in teaching or education or pedagogy. All have to do this particular, like the coursework, they have to earn a credit, what's the required credit for teaching, and also they have to go for a minimum number of hours for teaching also, like B.Ed students going to various schools. I think this PhD entrant, they have to go to the colleges and teach for the minimum number of hours to get that experiential learning, get the experience of teaching in the colleges. Vocational education, of course, once again, it's a serious concern today, because when they say vocational education, it's only 5% of our youth in India have got the formal vocational education. It is against, is 52% in the United States of America, 75% in Germany, and 96% in South Korea. So this policy decides that vocational education should be brought under the mainstream education. So by 2025, there will be vocational education exposure. They'll even start from the 11th standard, 12th standard onward. All right. Even in the school, they will focus on the vocational education, and there will be a separate committee also introduced for this. And most of our colleges, we have bachelor's in vocational degree. Even now, I think the first year when he comes out of that course, he is given a certificate. Second year when he comes out of the course, there will be a diploma. And third year when he comes out, they'll be given a certificate, graduate certificate. I know in Loyola College, they offer a bachelor's in vocations in animation and digital journalism. And that course is running successfully well. Here, once again, in the Gandhigram Rural University also, they have bachelor's in vocational education. I don't know what kind of structure they are, but there are some colleges which have offered this thing. In Chennai, there are a lot of colleges. They have introduced, 2013, Government of India introduced this. That is why today they have this vocational. But now they say it is not a one occasion. That vocational education also should be a multidisciplinary bachelor's program. So now, coming on to the professional education, they say professional education should not take place in isolation. Now today, let's see, take up all our engineering college, professional institutions. They offer engineering, let us say, computer science engineering, electronics, and communication engineering, or electrical and electronic engineering, whatever it is. But they should also study music, fine arts, those things. Everywhere you will see only multidisciplinary approaches. And even in agricultural education, with allied disciplines, revive the multidisciplinary. Agriculture also will have, of course, the focus is on agricultural education. And along with that, there will be other arts like fine arts, music, dancing, painting, and all those things will be given to them. And even in, of course, legal education and medical education does not come under this Higher Education Council of India. They will be separate, but still they say, even in legal education, they will have kind of a, two-language formula, where in the local languages, and the future lawyers and the judges, they should have a bilingual education. Not only English, bilingual. Maybe a student in Kerala will have a Malayalam education, or a student in Tamil Nadu will have Tamil education, a student will have Punjab, will have a Punjabi, and whatever. And in medical stream, they say allopathic medical student must have the basic understanding of Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, that is Ayush. No, Ayurveda, yoga, naturopathy, Unani, Siddha. That means that there will be a combination of the Indian medicine, the Indian basic medicine, no, Siddha, Unani, and all. Now we go on to the faculty and institutional autonomy. They say they are going to revamp the curriculum and the pedagogy, the methodology of teaching, assessment, and student support. Student support is scholarship. But today they would like to reaffirm the integrity of the faculty and institutional leadership. What they say is, there must be a uniform recruitment policy for recruiting the people, because Ph.D. and other NDAs, NET, SLET, all those will be mandatory. But in many areas, they say the merit is not considered for appointment of the faculty in colleges. And they also will say the number of papers published and the research orientation of each staff will be taken account. They'll be clearly defining these things, the transparent process and all those things. And hereafter, as I said in the beginning, there will not be a kind of a seniority which will be taken into account for your promotions. They will call it a tenure track. Even in the beginning, with a PhD, if you got around 25 international Corpus Index, stocked papers, international papers, he will be given a different position in a university or in a higher education college. It all depends on how he qualifies himself to become a teacher, become a faculty. So this particular area, it was earlier, they had given this also. I mean, I still remember that 465 draft national education policy. They had given a very detailed account of what will happen to the teachers. What are they supposed to do? They have to attend, incentive, what we call orientation programs to update their knowledge. That will be very compulsory. All those things will be given to the faculty. So, after the faculty, we come to the students. There will be an optimal learning atmosphere in all our institutions, wherein the faculty and institutions will be given the kind of an autonomy, innovate matters of curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. The policy feels that the teachers are not given enough autonomy to prepare innovative courses. Maybe the committees appointed for this purpose will design what kind of a course be designed for the local colleges, considering the local importance. Maybe if you take up Kanyakumari district, there are a lot of things, you can think of the coastal ecosystem and the agricultural ecosystem, honey marketing, rubber, and all those things. Whether it is an engineering college or arts and science college, this kind of a innovative curriculum, pedagogy, curriculum should be introduced. So the students will be interested in those things. That's what they say. So they'll have a broad framework of higher education qualification that ensures consistency across institutions. And also they will introduce ODL, online and traditional in-class. Along with the in-class boards, there will be definitely an online and open distance learning courses, provided they are accredited by the National Accreditation Council. Now, this choice-based credit system. Today, what we have as a choice-based credit system is not really choice-based credit system. This compulsion-based credit system. We don't allow the student to have a course as per his choice. I mean, I think that will be really revamped, revised, and then this. And each institution will have an institutional development plan for the faculty, for the students. What are the activities they are going to have it? Now, even now we have that planning, but now they say the focus will be on topic-centered clubs, a lot of activities. The students will be involved in, having a lot of activities, and they will be able to produce their innovations, creativity in their club meetings, and science, mathematics, poetry, language, literature, debate, and music, and all those things. Students should be given a kind of a free hand in developing the club activities towards excellence or towards a kind of a research. So now, another important point where they say that they want to have all the socio-economically disadvantaged groups, or those do not have access to the higher education in the multidisciplinary institutions. Each college should have a professional, academic, and career counseling center, wherein they will have to counsel the students, and they must also tell the student what are the things, the sponsorship we will be giving, the scholarship and all those. That's why they say they'll have a public-private enterprises wherein they will collect a lot of money, and then there will be funded scholarships also, scholarships funds to attract the students from the margins, the disadvantaged groups and all. Another important aspect in this higher education policy is internationalization. See, now as we say, we had a beautiful, wonderful culture with Takshashila and the Nalanda universities, wherein we had attracted a lot of scholars all over the world to come to India and study our varied culture. Like that, today, we will also invite the students from other countries to study Indology, Indian languages, Ayush systems of medicine, yoga, arts, music, history, culture, and modern India. I think, we will design the curriculum in such a way, we'll be able to attract those students to our country. And in each higher educational institution, an international students office will be set up. And then, this will be open for, there will be no rigorous screening and all that. The international students can come and do that. Of course, there are a lot of problems. Even the Trump administration says even online education cannot be taken by the students from outside and all that. But of course, maybe thinking all those things, having in mind all those problems or hurdles they face in the overall educational system, today they'll also introduce this in India. And they have plans to introduce 100 top universities from abroad. They want to bring them here to India. Why? Because they say this multidisciplinary cluster group, it is more or less like Ivy universities, or that Stanford universities, Ivy League universities abroad in America. That kind of a model will be followed. That's why they say foreign universities will be opened in our countries. In our country, maybe top 100 institutions will be given free hand to come to our country. And also, we will also have an exchange. We'll sign with an MOU to have exchange programs. The students can go to those universities, or when they come to the universities, there will be a transfer of credits with the global institutions. The transfer of credits will be allowed. Okay, now I'll come to the foundation, like now the National Research Foundation. Now, definitely they are going to start a National Research Foundation. Today we have to develop a robust ecosystem of research in the realms of climate change, population dynamics and management, biotechnology, and expanding digital marketplace and all those things. Especially in artificial intelligence. And in this context, I can even would like to tell you all those things. Even this pandemic situation, what kind of a medicine we can, which we can, do seriously in our research laboratories and help the community. So currently, the government of India has allotted only 0.69 of GDP for research, whereas in the United States of America it is 2.8%, Israel it is 4.3, South Korea it's 4.0. So I think we have to increase that also. also. And through this establishment of NRF, what will happen? They will, identify wherever there is a peer-reviewed research. They'll identify those things. No, this is only for research. Remember, there is no UGC, there is no IACT, there is no NCT, all those things. It's all coming under Higher Education Council of India. And there will be a separate research foundation which will closely work with Department of Science and Technology, Department of Atomic Energy, Department of Biotechnology, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, Indian Council of Medical Research, and so on. And Indian Council of Historical Research, right? And the primary activities of National Research Foundation will be to give funds to the competitive peer-reviewed grant proposals of all types, seed, grow, and facilitate research in academic institutions, and they have to act as a liaison between researchers and relevant branches of government as well as industry, so that research scholars are constantly made aware of the most urgent national research issues. What is really needed in our country, and are we really having a research prospect for those issues? Immediately something like that. And recognize outstanding research and progress. These are the functions. Now, how are you going to implement? We say we have to increase 50% of GER in 2030 or 2030, whatever it is. So presently, it is only 26.5. What are they going to do? Now, we have to take up this, they say scheduled tribes, MBGs, most backward classes, and other disadvantaged groups. But this policy, they say, there is a socio-economically disadvantaged group. That's something new, socio-economically disadvantaged group. So for these people, we have to set clear targets for GR for all these people, right? And another important thing is there's a gender balance. Gender balance in admissions to higher education. Maybe barring Tamil Nadu, South India, and many rural areas in the North India, that the women are not given a chance for higher education. I think that you have to strike a balance between this men and women going for higher education, right? And we have to develop these socio-economically disadvantaged groups. For that only, they want to have financial assistance through scholarship, and with the public and everywhere, whether it is a private university or a public university, whatever it is, there will be a special scholarship for these socio-economic development groups, right? And they have to give a lot of scholarships, and we have to give a support technology for all this participation. That's why they say there will be a professional counseling center in all higher educational institutions where we have to give this. And we have to also see why there is no takers for higher education in the rural areas, because of the costs, higher costs. So they will mitigate the opportunity costs, provide a lot of financial assistance and all those things. And even in the admission policy, they will see to it is more inclusive to include those who are at the margin, those at the border. Okay. So they'll be also introducing more degree courses in Indian languages. Okay. And another important thing is they say, of course, in most of the universities, most of the higher education we have, they will introduce the facilities for wheelchair accessibility. Because that means the institutions have to be disabled friendly. Disabled friendly. That means everybody has to be treated equally, and everyone, just because he has got some kind of a challenge in his physical, this one, why should we disallow him from entering an institution? Let him get that institutional education. And special bridge courses should be designed in such a way the disadvantaged educational background students will keep themselves on par with the counterparts in the urban areas. So that's why they say that we have to give it that. And we have to also sensitize the faculty on all those people and gender identity issue and all those things. And strictly enforce no discrimination and anti-harassment. So nothing will be there. No kind of a harassment, no kind of a discrimination in our institution. Everybody, because the institutional development plan should, have everything. They should have everything in such a way that everybody is treated equally in our campuses. Okay. Now, how are they going to transform the regulatory system of our? They say there is no proper strict regulatory system to regulate all our institutions. So there will be a lot of new commissions and councils to introduce or execute the policy of our institution. The highest, the apex, our overarching autonomous umbrella body will be Higher Education Commission of India. Higher Education Commission of India. So, hereafter there is, all these things are combined. AICT, UGC, all those things are combined, except medical education and legal education. All the other avenues of education will come under Higher Education Commission. And we have, under these things, there are 4 important councils. One is National Higher Education Regulatory Council. So now the word is the Regulatory Council, that they will regulate all the institutions. National Accreditation Council, Higher Education Grants Council. So this is a research foundation and higher education grants will be separate. The earlier UGC was looking at everything, academics, grants, and all that. Now Higher Education Grants Council will look into only the sanction of the funds and grants to the institution, and General Education Council. There will be a General Education Council. And they all, when earlier thing they said there will be Rashtriya Shiksha Ayog, the National Education Council or a General Education Council. So now that they say now education in the concurrent list, the state also have to cooperate. All the states have to cooperate with this. That's why they say there will be a Rajya Shiksha Ayog, State Educational Council, wherein the education minister of the state concerned will be the chairman of this institute. Whereas they were not very clear. Earlier they said the prime minister will be the chairman of this. And after that, the 55-page draft, they said it's only the Minister of Education. And now they say once again the Prime Minister. There is some kind of a, misconception of this position of this Prime Minister or Minister of Education. And this National Higher Education Qualification Framework was introduced earlier in 2013. And which will help the students in the vocational stream with the National Skills Qualification Format. They will have a designing of this, the vocational education in such a way that each student, when he comes out of vocational education courses, he'll be completely empowered to do some vocation in such a way that he'll be able to contribute to the next. And another important commission which we are going to introduce is National Education Technology Forum. Now during the pandemic, why this webinar today? Not face to face, technology enhancement, now ICT methodologies, all those things have to be now. Anyway, it is going to come to stay. The technology education is going to come to stay. So there will be a National Education Technology Forum and National Mission for Mentoring. Now in schools and also in the first year, there will be a National School of Mentoring. There they will appoint retired professors and some eminent people from the local areas will be appointed for mentoring the students. And National Committee for the Integration of Vocational. This is also now, once again, they'll introduce a commission wherein they will be integrating vocational education and also with the multidisciplinary programs. And, now that I told you that there will not be any UGC or AICT and all that, there will be a professional standard setting bodies for NCTE or the teacher education, for Council of Architecture, National Council of Vocational Education and Training, Indian Council for Agricultural Research, and veterinary council, all these things, the members will be having a professional standard setting body. Now, see this word, the professional standard. So all these programs that can be designed by these people, professional standard setting bodies. And the promotion of online and digital education will be definitely there. And they will, as I told you, they will have a national education technology, and they will definitely integrate technology to improve classroom processes today. And now we all know that online classes have been already started. And we should have a proper infrastructure of a Google Classroom and the classrooms and all those things in our colleges itself. So, we should have a proper infrastructure for technology enhancement education in our college. Now, for online and digital education, I think they have given a lot of points. Of course, which we are already doing it, the virtual laboratories, online education, digital infrastructure. I think I have to go to hurry because there are other programs. Of course, the blended model of learning and all those things. All right. But now that is online education. Online education is going to be a very important component in the education policy. The colleges have to contribute themselves. I think there's special training. I think most of the colleges already started FTPs for e-content preparation and online teaching and all that. That means we also change with the times. What is needed now? And during this pandemic period, we need a kind of an online classes. Of course, the very important thing is that the digital divide. We have to overcome the digital divide. And the policy makers also, they are aware of the digital divide we have in our country. I think some ways and means will be designed to overcome the digital divide so that everybody will come under the umbrella of online education. Another important category is that they want to promote the Indian languages, arts, and culture. See, Sanskrit and all Indian language institutions will be started. Indian Institute of Languages, like for Pali, Persian, and Prakriti. Indian National Institute of Languages will be started, and efforts will be made to preserve this, what you call, classical languages. Of course, how are we going to make it happen? There will be multiple mechanisms, with lots of checks and balances. You remember the beginning I said there are a lot of fake institutions which have to be really brought under book. They have to book all those things, and they will design clear mechanism of checks and balances will compare the commercialization education so that all will get a good chance to get education. So all educations will come under the similar standards of audit and maybe today they think, BITS Bilani is a very big institution, right? Okay. And then SRM, it's a big thing. No. All these things will have the same standards. And that means those institutions at the margin also should come on par with the higher education. And there will be standards of audit and now, what's happening, will happen. They'll be strengthening there is already one Central Advisory Board, CAB, that's called GAB. Now, what are they going to do? They'll be strengthening the Central Advisory Board of Education, and they'll also appoint Board of Governors, and there is a move to start Indian Education Service. The bureaucrats will be chosen through like IAS or IPS, whatever it is, IFS. There will be Indian Educational Service, and the bureaucrats also will form the committee as like the Board of Governors. They will administer. Now, I think today in IIT and IIM, they have bureaucrats, some of the experts, some ministers are all there as members. Maybe like that. In future, if they start a multidisciplinary, a multi-educational research university in one district, now there will be a Board of Governors. And because there will be a lot of small institutions, the cluster groups will be attached to that. They will be monitored by the Board of Governors as the members of the group, right? So, and the very important thing is, how are they going to make it happen? Financial stability, affordability. If at all the students who belong to the socio-economically disadvantaged groups, they have to be given an affordable cost, a quality education throughout quality. And then implementation, of course, any policy for that matter, implementation will take time. They say they will give at least 10 years, 2030, 2020, a lot of colleges will become autonomous and all that. And by 2030 to 2040, they will review the whole thing. They'll see how they function. They'll perform. They'll be in a phased manner. They will introduce these multidisciplinary programs in all higher education institutions, and they'll see to it there are a lot of strength. Suppose there are colleges which has less strength that will come under cluster higher education institution. Maybe they'll be there, but under multi-education research universities, board of governors will take care of these institutions. Each board of governors will be given one institution, and they have to see the administration with a very good administrator as a principal or secretary of the college. They will have to take care of those institutions. Now, I think I'll have come to the last point now. You see, any implementation, after implementation, now there are a lot of research scholars and a lot of teachers there. Maybe like a Ph.D. thesis, I would like to say, why don't you now critically view this policy? I would like to quote Sandra Taylor's context, text, and effects of approach to researching policy. Or I will take it as a kind of a policy discourse. It's a policy discourse, right? Because, there is a context. The context of any given education policy is always specific and particular. Now, the policy given here is Indian specific, with related to our country's culture. It's Indian specific, particularly to our country. All right? Because they always talk about the rich tradition of India, the culture of India, the diversity and unity, and all those points are discussed in this policy. And they say those things should be brought to the youth of our country, because today India is having the biggest youth population in the world. Comparing to all the other countries, today we have. That means that human resources are more in our country. That's why they want. That's why. No, I think I want to say that even that the MHRD will be converted into Ministry of Education. It will be called the Ministry of Education hereafter. So that's a very specific and particular, and it is historically situated. This policy is so. I want you to analyze how it is historically situated, and then the texts. Policy is not often a single text. It's an assemblage of political websites and administrative guidance. You remember when it was started, we were able to get a lot of feedback from the people. But though there was of course, I was there as a member in the consultation convened by Padma Bhushan and Dr. Kasturi Rangan in the NAC office, Bangalore in 2018. Of course, we were having a lot of, and after the policy draft was out, I think more than 3 lakh people gave the feedback. All right. Now, this is what I'm saying, the text. Now, there are a lot of things. There are a lot of curriculum statements. Now, is it helpful to make the scope and nature of such texts to have a very good representational policy? I think you can still think of those. I think I have given you a skeleton of the entire policy. If at all you want to do a research, I think you can think of the text, whether it is really in context, and what are the effects and consequences. Policies are not simply implemented. It cannot be easily implemented, because we have to read and read it. What are the? You must have seen the paper every day. There are people that they want to totally reject this. No, there are things that we have to read and read it and all that. What is there? The specific history of the particular people. I think like that. If you could do that, what will happen in this policy is introduced? What will be the effects of it? What will be the consequences? We can also have a kind of a survey based on the investigation and present some papers. What will happen? Because another 10 years, another, let's say another 10 years till 2030, the policy has to be in effective mode, and there are a lot of things will be introduced in phased manner. And they say by 2040, after seeing the entire performance of the new education policy, of the national education policy in all higher educational institutions, they will take up a review of the next national education policy. Remember, they say after 34 years of the 1992 revival of the NP, National Policy of Education, now they would like to see that the unfinished agenda of National Policy of Education in 1986 should be complemented and completed in this policy. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, Dr. Joseph Dunston.
Thank you, Professor Chibi.
Yeah, yes. Thank you so much for the wonderful review that you have given on the National Education Policy 2020, stressing on various aspects, multidisciplinary, talking about the online digital education, promotion of Indian languages, arts, culture, and even you are stressing the digital divide. I think there are a lot of questions actually. I found few questions in the chat.
Please. Yes, Professor Tibi.
Thank you so much, dear Professor, for the wonderful review that you have given on national education policy. You have stressed on various aspects, multidisciplinary, bilingual, promoting online and digital learning. You have spoken about the Indian languages, arts, culture. Even you have stressed on the digital divide. We have a number of questions actually. There are a few questions in the chat box already. One, Mr. Selvin Vedamanikam had posted about 9 questions.
Oh God.
Yeah, I think I shall read those questions.
Yes.
I can also give chance for you to ask your questions directly if you wish to.
Yes. Let them unmute.
Hand raise option. I think you can ask the questions also. Let me read out these 9 questions which is there in the chat box.
Yes.
Okay. This is from Mr. Selvin Vedamanikam. The first question is, what will happen to the IIMs? Would they too become multidisciplinary? Yes. Second question is a situation in a situation where there will be no affiliated colleges, what would happen to the present universities? The next one is 64.
Come on. Hello. Do you hear me?
Where there are not takers of seats, as that happened already in our engineering colleges.
Okay.
If the entire education setup is so tightly rigored, then why we should need many coaching centers fleecing students? Would those coaching centers be abolished? Then the next question is bringing the IVY league at the same time when trying to recuperate the already ailing Indian educational system. Would it not be a pressure on our institutions? The next question is, who can enter the IVA league model institutions? Are our students today ready to face the competition? And the next question is, financial assistance and scholarships are 2 different things. Wouldn't the financial assistance through educational loans make our students writ under loan burden, like that of the case as in USA.
Okay.
And the last question is, would the economics of learning be adjusted with inflation to help students?
Yeah, thank you. Now, regarding the first question, IIM also will offer multidisciplinary program. That is very clearly stated. IITs also will offer a multidisciplinary program. No institution will be a standalone institution. All institutions will be. Only thing is how they are going to design those multidisciplinary courses in IIMs. We have to still wait and see what will come out. Right? And then what is the next question, Professor TB? Regarding the universities, current universities, no? All right. Hello.
Yeah.
The
In a
current
situation
universities
there will be no affiliated colleges, what would happen to the present universities?
they'll remain as research intensive university, and they're teaching and research university. That will continue. Only thing is they don't affiliate our colleges because they will become independent. That will be a research intensive university. More and more research programs will be given to those. Right? And the affiliated colleges will also can become a university once they cater to the what you call the needs of the National Accreditation Council. Slowly they will also move to that. See, these three categories are not very rigid. It's a continuum. That academic, what you call it, the autonomous institution will become a teaching university. Slowly it will also become a research university. The next question. I think there are a lot of questions.
Yes. I'll get back to the next question. Is 64 Kalas and related jobs, would there be an assurance on strict minimum wage per job enforcement?
No, I mean, I don't think we'll be able to design because singing, designing, and all those things are already there. Painting, no. Maybe they'll have to design certain things, and the local artisans have to come forward. I think that's their idea. The local artisans will be invited to train the students in the local arts. Maybe we have people training people in Bharatanatyam that way. So slowly they will start doing it. And of course, they have to think in terms of some economic progression for these courses. That's all. We do not know how that will be designed, the economic upsurge of the students. Yes, the next one, Professor TB.
When every district has a university, would it not proliferate the numbers? Would it not?
Yeah. Now see.
Yeah.
At present, we have 40,000 institutions, like colleges and 800 universities. They want to reduce that. And of course, this model university will be there in the district. Why? Because now all these individual colleges will come under that group. That means the number will be less. They'll be a kind of, let us say, it will be a kind of a constituent college. There will be a model university. Like now today we have a lot of constituent colleges under MS University. They don't go separately for accreditation. Once the accreditation team comes there, they also visit this constituent college. They all form a cluster. That means the number of, I think it will be now known as all these constitution colleges, Mano College, will be known as Mano University. That's all in future. And that will also be there when we have one particular multidisciplinary educational research university in a district. I think each district, the closer to each district they say they will have it. Let's wait and see how possible it is or how feasible it is to start a university to have a see. Already there are big autonomous colleges, let us say in our district. Maybe they may even convert one autonomous college to a university, and that will be affiliated that way. That kind of a thing also is there. Yeah, that's a possibility.
Another question is bringing the Ivy League at the same time when trying to recuperate the already ailing Indian educational system. Would it not be a pressure on our institutions?
I think that I don't think there will be a pressure, but I know definitely we will work under pressure because We have to now change our lot of courses, programs. Lot of programs have to be changed. For a student who finishes physics major, he has to take a minor in fine arts, and he has to take a minor in so on. And this method of introducing these things, and who will disseminate this knowledge? They say no PhD, nothing. Only those trained artisans will be taken in, right? Even the community service, there will be people. Of course, there are a lot of undercurrent writings also, but I don't want to go into those things. But they say hereafter, slowly it will be phased out, and then they bring in those things, and the teachers will be trained to take up all this. There will be special training given to the teachers also. And as I said, the future entrants in PhD, they'll have to take up all this. They'll design such a way, because all these single stream institutions will become a multidisciplinary institution wherein we have different what you call arts, fine arts, that will be introduced by all. For that, naturally you should have a trained staff also, faculty also. Yes, sir.
Question is regarding the financial assistance and scholarships.
Yes.
Yeah, wouldn't the financial...
I had a feeling when I asked you that question, financial assistance, one is the loan, or even the private public enterprises, they'll start contributing the scholarship. Now, today, present scenario, we find a student who completes an engineering professional degree, or after finishing it, when he doesn't get a job, he's not able to pay the loan back, right? So that's why they say there will be an opportunities for introducing more of this entrepreneurship, the skill development, so that they will be able to get some kind of a financial risk to pay back. The scholarships will be, now once again, now that we have some scholarship schemes, that will be strengthened in such a way that socio-economically developed disadvantaged group also will come under this scholarship scheme. And that's why they, once they start the counseling centers in each institution, these ideas will be transmitted to them, how to talk to the student to get all those. That's
the last question there is, would the economics of learning be adjusted with inflation to help students?
I don't know, because I am not an economic expert. Of course, if you go to Amartya Sen, development, he says, only when you have freedom, we can have, I think he's brought out a beautiful book, Development as Freedom. I think, maybe when you start inculcating those, imbibing these ideas in the students, when they make use of the freedom in such a way that they know what they are really doing it, then we'll have, I think we'll also overcome the inflation, so that the students will have a sound economy.
Okay, there are a lot of appreciations that the session was very informative, and they have the time that they have spent was so much valuable information that they have got. So, a lot of positive responses from the participants. Then there is another question from Mr. Balaji, who asks, will North Indian students flood to South India?
There will be a chance, because I tell you, because when I was the Vice Chancellor in Nagaland University, most of the students wanted to come down to Tamil Nadu, especially because I don't know, Professor TB knows, when you were a student in Pondicherry University, there would be a tribal quota, you remember?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, they came. And I know lots of engineers in that Nagaland territory, in all the 7 states, sister states. All those engineers are from Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh. They want to come down. Now, why not North Indian? Because if we have a different educational institution, we can't see today how many North Indians are there in SR. How many North Indians are there in Wells University? Now, most of the North Indian students come to our country, Tamil Nadu. How many students are in Loyola College, Chennai? Okay. I think there will be a chance of North Indians flooding to our country, Tamil Nadu also. Yeah.
Another question from Mr. Sampath Kumar. What is the role of English medium?
Yes, I saw that in the chat box.
Yes.
That whether it is a 2-language formula or 3-language formula, they say till fifth standard, it has to be given in local language. But for the CBSE schools and Kendriya Vidyalayas, they have not decided anything so far. So that is still on the cards what they are going to decide. That will definitely come. They cannot stop all the schools, no? Maybe they will offer Tamil. They'll also offer, you see, today, take all the CBSE schools. They offer Hindi. They also offer Tamil, right? Along with English. And it is given in English medium. Maybe, I don't know whether they will also be asked to start a local language mediums in their class, colleges, or the schools also. Right? I don't know how that will come out.
Okay, there is another question from Mr. Arjun Samuel Raj.
Yeah.
So, how this national education policy is going to evaluate the students' performance on these various disciplinaries? For example, what are the parameters of practical examinations?
Yeah, that's what I said, no, sir. They'll have lots of commissions and they'll design. For example, now let us say practical examination for Bharatanatyam or practical examination for painting. I think they'll have to decide. A mode in which they have to come and draw something, or they have to exhibit the Bharatanatyam, or the what you call the Rasa. They may even ask Rasa theory, right? I think without any difficulty, I think we'll be able. I think Professor Tibi, even the Professor Arjun. See, when I was a Vice Chancellor in Nagaland, we introduced this practicals on the day when the Part 2 English exam, theory, writing aspect of it. Afternoon, there will be a reading aspect of them, and then the speaking aspect, right? And we'll also ask them to listen to a recorded passage, and they have to write down something. So all the 4 skills we introduced that. I think the other colleges also followed that, though mine was a private university. Other leading autonomous colleges, and the textbooks were taken from Tamil Nadu. That is Palangote, St. Xavier's College. Yeah, I think they will also design, because I tell you, there will be various experts in the committees, the Higher Education Council of India, under which there will be professional standard setting bodies. They will set the standards of conducting the programs and other allied disciplines in the college. That is the work of the professional standard setting bodies. There will be board of governors. There will be bureaucrats. They will be there. Industrials also. The industrials also will be there in the board of studies, the board of governors list. They will design whatever they need. I think the practical also accordingly they will design. That's what I feel. They will design the practical. Right. Yes, Arjun?
Yeah. Then there is one more question from Mr. Selvin Vedamanikyam.
Yeah.
So he asks, if the entire education setup is so tightly regulated, then why we should need many coaching centers freezing students?
See, that's what I don't
want. Those coaching centers were abolished.
Yeah, I said they want to increase the GER and all that. There will be a tight and light programs and all that. But I tell you, this coaching center culture will be definitely, because they say it is all tight and light till 12th standard. And then NTA will come. See, for example, Professor Tibi or Dr. Selvin, for this debt and sled, are we not attending the coaching classes now? They are also making money. So when are we going to change? Maybe when we design the syllabus in such a way, all right? Of course, I know that there will be definitely a coaching class culture, because the NTA will come to conduct the examination for all entrance exams, for all the programs. How are you going to stop it? That means we will design the syllabus and curriculum in such a way, only those things will be asked for them. That's what I feel. Otherwise, definitely, of course, it's a very shady question also. Private enterprises will come in to start a lot of coaching centers. They'll make money. I don't know what kind of a decision the government is going to take. So today, now the advertisements also talk about the needs, how many students have got, all those things. So I think slowly it has to be stopped. I think that proper decision has to be taken. I think then whenever there is a forum, there we can represent our grievances in such a way. There should not be any coaching. I don't know whether it's the hands of the politicians or the states or the members of the the professional standards.
There's one more question from one of our colleagues, Dr. P.D. Annie Gladys of the Department of English of our college. What are the major limitations of NEP?
What are the major? Sorry? Major limitations. Hello? TB, do you hear me? Hello? Hello? TB, do you hear me? TB, do you hear me? TB, Professor TB, do you hear me? Hello? Professor TB, do you hear me?
Okay.
Do you hear me now? Yeah. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you mean the major limitations of the policy?
Yes, that was the question.
See, very good. See, the major limitations will be, even in the implementation part of it, I don't think it will be easy for the, I mean, I'm not supposed to comment on that, but still, there will be some difficulties. Number two, will they definitely increase the gross enrollment ratio? Still, there is a lot of difficulty, right? Because I feel when you give exit options, first year, even in the school, they say they can have exit options. Do you think the students will come back to our campuses and continue the study? Exit options. I think exit options definitely. Of course, I don't want to still go to the colloquial view, all those things and all that. But they say that they'll increase the GR. That's why you remember it was in 2018 there was a move that all campuses should have online education or ODL or MOOC and all that. And they wanted to show to the world they have more of GER by online education and all that. Now, there will be definitely a limitation. And how many of you say that, you say, I tell you, those students, in certain universities, when they do these courses, you will not be allowed to go for teaching, right? Are they going to look into those things? Are they going to look into this? I mean, they say online courses will be accredited and then it will be given to the student. I think there will be a lot of difference. And then even the transfer of credits from, do you think ordinary rural student will be able to go to a foreign country? The transfer of credits. I don't know how it will work. I think these are the major limitations in the policy. I cannot say openly, but still there are. That's what I said. When you go for a research like this, at the context, the effects and consequences, what will happen? What will happen to our college? All right. Even let us say now a cluster college. That means the ownership will be lost. They can't do anything. The policy cannot be their own policy, the institutional policy. That cannot be implemented in the colleges, right? But there will be a board of governors sitting on top of us. He will be instructing us what to do and what not to do in our group of institutions. I don't know how it will happen. Maybe I feel once it is placed for parliamentary discussion after the lockdown is lifted, some clarity may come. That's what I feel. Still, it is not completely clear. I read both the versions of the 66 pages. In both the issues, there are a lot of differences. They don't talk about IES one version, the other version they talk about IES. Already we have said no IES at all to be appointed in a school. But I don't know how they are going to. I think there are a lot of limitations, I think, which I cannot openly say also for very obvious reason, right? Thank you.
Yeah. I think there are a few people who have raised their hands. They can unmute and then they can ask questions. I will go to Professor Balaji Alagarajan.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
This is Balaji.
Yes, sir.
calling
Yes, sir. I
from-
hear you, sir.
Okay, sir. So my question is this: national entrance exam will kill the GER, right? Because many rural students will not be able to join. For example, in Tamil Nadu, in the last year, students from government schools, not even a single student cleared a NEET exam, sir. This is the range in Tamil Nadu. Imagine Bihar and all. I think rural students' education dreams will be over if NEP is implemented. Particularly, I'm not talking about anything else, particularly the national level entrance exam for any courses. This will kill dreams of millions of students. What do you think?
I perfectly agree. But tell you, they say let us say +2 program will be light but tight. I mean, I am not able to understand that light and tight. No, and the earlier question on my friend asked me, that will be a coaching culture. Definitely, our students cannot go for the coaching. Naturally, now, as I said in the final session, I said that what are the consequences of this policy? Maybe that is one such. And once again, is it a right way to say that they'll be introducing, enhancing the GER, but when they introduce this national testing agency, how many students will go for higher education? Still, we have to think of that. Will there be a proper enhancement of it? Then maybe ODL will help them. Online distance education will help them. The boys have to come for that. All right? Accredited online education. They'll that way they will.
Sir, one more question, sir. Due to the national entrance examinations, okay, the state universities will have to admit other state universities, which will directly affect the state students' rights, no, sir. For example, if it is a central government university, it is okay. We can go for a ratio. But in a state university, in a rural state university is admitting other state students, I don't agree with that. It is
From the
directly
policy point of view, from the policy perspective, I'll say they'll come all these people will come under the socially disadvantaged groups, no? Socially disadvantaged groups. I think that's a
But
possibility.
state government has to fund the university and they
now you
have
see,
salary to the state, everything
whatever you
from
think, right?
their pocket.
The
From
state
their pocket,
universities now, I think they have to
do
decide.
the spending, and then they don't have anything, any say in the admission process. That is my question.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Anything else? Hello.
Nothing from sir. Nothing from sir. Me, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
There is another question from Department of English.
Yeah.
You can unmute and ask the question. Somebody with the name Department of English has hand raised. So hope it was done without knowledge. So there is no other hand raise in the participants list. So I think there are no more questions, but there are a lot of applauses from the participants. They have all enjoyed your session thoroughly, and they have shared their gratitude to you and also for us for organizing such a program. So we are grateful to you, sir, for making the participants enriched with a lot of information. There was a lot of discussion also after the end of the session. We apologize for the technical glitches that we had in the beginning.
No problem at all. But
Yes.
that's why I had to go a bit fast.
Yes. Plus, now the online classes have started in all the universities.
Yes.
That's why we don't have a lot of participation from.
Yes, exactly. That's what.
Yes.
Even when I was discussing with Dr. Palraj yesterday,
Yes.
because of the online classes, many professors also could not join.
Yes. Even today, there are online classes going on in our college, and many of the faculty members have told this as a reason. And I am sure this is happening in all the universities now.
Yes, yes, yes.
Classes are going on, so the students as well as the faculty members find it difficult to join during the daytime.
This morning, Professor TP, another university has asked me from Bangalore. Actually, they have a branch in Delhi. They are going to put it only on Saturday, at that too in the evening.
Okay, okay, fine. That's good. But we planned this earlier, so that was why we couldn't make any change in the schedule.
Yeah, anyway, thank you for the opportunity, Professor.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. We'll be putting the video in our YouTube channel, IQAC NMCC. This is a college.
I'll watch it.
Yeah. So those who want to watch it again, if you have any queries or something which you want to, or you can share the link to your friends also. Those who are unable to join in this live program, they could also make use of the YouTube channel and watch the video of presentation of Dr. Professor Joseph Dunston. So you would like to share something or?
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dr. Joseph Dunston, once again, for the wonderful presentation, for the lively interaction. There was a lot of energy in your presentation. Your slides were also very clear. Okay, it told things very clearly. And all the questions or the queries by our participants, both in the chat box as well as the questions that have raised directly, you have answered it. And it was a very good session. On behalf of the management of Nationwide Memorial Christian College, the principal Dr. K. Palraj, our correspondent advocate L. Rajadurai, our vice principal Dr. G.D. Biji, the entire team of IQAC of our college and the faculty members, all the participants, the learned professors and academicians, administrators who are present today. We had a lot of people. Okay, we had Dr. Joseph Durairat sir from Gandhigram University. There are members from English and Foreign Language University. Dr. Shema Jose is there. We had she was one of our presenters in one of the faculty development programs earlier. Many of our earlier resource persons have joined us. Dr. Rajana Rastogi, Professor Jefferson, Professor Ramya Shri. So I could find many of them who have joined today's meeting. So thank you so much, all of you, all the academicians, research scholars, participants. Thank you one and all. Thank you for making the session very interesting or making it lively with your questions also. We would like to make another announcement also. Today at 3 o'clock, we have another session where we have Dr. Madhavi Gayatri Raman from English and Foreign Language University, Hyderabad. So she'll be taking a session, handling a session on assessing online learning effectively. So that is a topic, assessing online learning effectively, where we have Dr. Madhavi Gayatri Raman. So we have it live in YouTube as well as Zoom. So I request the participants to join in the afternoon session as well. So once again, I take this opportunity to thank Dr. Joseph Dunston for the valuable time that he had spent with all of us. So thank you one and all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Give my regards to Dr. Palraj and your secretary, Advocate Rajadurai. Thank you.
Definitely, sir.
Wish you all the best in the future endeavors also. Good. You are doing a wonderful job. Thank you.
Dr. Tibi, can you please share this registration link for the program which you are going to organize 3 p.m.?
Okay.
Yeah, this I'll definitely share. I'll share the link.
And Dr. Tibi, one more thing. Can you also provide Dr. Dunston sir email ID?
Yeah, you can.
Email ID. Yeah, that can be given right now, I think. Sir.
Joseph.dunston@gmail.com. Joseph.dunston@gmail.com.
I got it, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I got it.
Thank you, TB. Wonderful. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.